Good evening and welcome, dear students. This session is meant for an exhaustive discussion of 30 questions from each chapter of second year. Today, in this session, we discuss second chapter, Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plant. Chapter 2, Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. The most probable questions selected. 30 probable questions. Question number 1. Then, the plant part which consists of two generations, one within the other. So the selection of the option should be very careful. In the selected option, there should be two plant parts. One represent one type of generation, that is gametophytic or sporophytic. The other one, the opposite of the first one. Two different types of generation. Here the two different types of generation means gametophytic and sporophytic. So the option, the selection is not that much easy. Here, the answer is C. That is the third one. A and D. A and D. A and D. How it is? A, pollen grains are haploid. Anther is diploid. Pollen grains represent gametophytic generation, and they represent sporophytic generation. So, pollen grain is produced inside the anther. One type of generation inside the other. Question, the concept of the question is agreeable. Here next. Embryo sac inside the ovule. Embryo sac is haploid, ovule is diploid. Since it is diploid, ovule is sporophytic generation. Embryo sac is haploid, it is a gametophytic generation. And we studied that pollen grains represent male gametophyte, embryo sac represent female gametophyte. Pollen grains represent male gametophyte, embryo sac represent female gametophyte. See here, embryo sac is produced inside the ovule. Inside the ovule. So, one generation inside another generation. Embryo sac, which is a part of gametophytic generation, it is inside the sporophytic generation. That is ovule. So answer is option C, A and D. Question number 2. The body of the ovule fused within the funicle. Body of the ovule fused with, not within, with the funicle at. The body of the ovule is fused at with the, this is the body of the ovule. This is the body of the ovule. It is fused with the funicle at a point here. The point is called hilum. Hilum, it is the point at which funicle fuses with the body of the ovule. Funicle fuses with the body of the ovule. Yes. Next. Persistent nucellus in seed is known as persistent nucellus. Means nucellus retained in the seed. nucellus retained in the seed. Usually after fertilization, nucellus of the ovule degenerate, disappear. So there will be no nucellus in the ovule. No nucellus in the ovule. In some plants, after fertilization, the nucellus did not degenerate. A small amount of nucellus is present in the seed. That portion of nucellus which is retained, which is persistent in the seed, is called perisperm. Perisperm is the portion of nucellus. Perisperm is the portion of nucellus retained in the seed. What is the function of perisperm? The function of perisperm is nutritive. It gives nutrition to the developing embryo. The function of perisperm is nutritive. What is the ploidy of perisperm? The ploidy of perisperm. Perisperm, the function is nutrition. What is the ploidy of perisperm? The ploidy of perisperm is diploid. Ploidy of perisperm is diploid. Why? Nucellus is diploid. Perisperm is nothing but nucellus. Perisperm is nothing but nucellus, so nucellus is diploid, so perisperm is diploid. So ultimately we can conclude like this. Perisperm is a diploid nutritive tissue which is a part of nucellus, a portion of nucellus persisting in the seed. So we studied perisperm. What is perisperm? Persistent nucellus in the seed. What is the ploidy of perisperm? Diploid, 2n. What is the function of perisperm? Nutrition. It provides nutrition to the developing embryo. Therefore, perisperm is a diploid nutritive tissue. Perisperm is a diploid nutritive tissue. But endosperm is a triploid nutritive tissue. Endosperm is a triploid nutritive tissue. Perisperm is a diploid nutritive tissue. Perisperm is a diploid nutritive tissue in seed. Endosperm also in seed. So endosperm and perisperm. Next. Which of the following statement regarding post-fertilization development in flowering plant is incorrect? We have to select an incorrect statement regarding post-fertilization development. Development after fertilization, followed by fertilization. Here, the false statement is third one. Ovules develop into embryo sac. It is wrong. After fertilization, the ovules develop into seed. Ovules develop into seed. So the statement is wrong. We studied the definition of seed. Seed is a fertilized, matured ovule. Seed is a fertilized, matured ovule. Question number 5. In some plants, female gamete develop into embryo without fertilization. This phenomenon is known as parthenogenesis. What is parthenogenesis? Female gamete develop into embryo without fertilization. Female gamete develop into embryo without fertilization. So the individual, the developed individual will be haploid. Male honeybee is a good example for parthenogenesis. Male honeybee develop from unfertilized egg. Egg, you know, female gamete. Female gamete. So male honeybees are haploid. Male honeybees are haploid. But female honeybee is diploid. The haplodiploid sex determination is operating in honeybee. Haploid-diploid sex determination. Haploids are male. Diploids are female. Workers are also diploid. Workers are also diploid. So ploidy determine. Chromosome number determine the sex of the individual. Haplodiploid sex determination mechanism. Haploids are male, diploids are female. Yes. Now, that is parthenogenesis. Next question. Question number 6. Which is the fate of male gametophyte discharged in synergy? In angiosperm, after pollination, the pollen tube grows downward. It enters into the ovule, usually through micropyle, and discharges its 2 male gametes into one of the synergids. One of the synergids. Each pollen tube carry 2 male gametes. Each pollen tube carries 2 male gametes. What is the fate of these 2 male gametes? What happens to these male gametes? Here you know, both the gametes are involved in fertilization. Both the gametes are involved in fertilization. That is, one fuses with the egg and the other fuses with the central cell nuclei. Central cell nuclei, we studied a name that is polar nuclei. Central cell nuclei or polar nuclei. Both the sperms are involved in fertilization. Both the sperms are involved in fertilization. The sperms are released to where? They are released to the synergid, one of the synergid. How many sperms or male gametes will be there in a pollen tube? 2. One fuses with a female gamete, that is egg. The fusion is called synchrony. Other fuses with a central cell nuclei or polar nuclei, that is triple fusion. 2 gametes are involved in fertilization. So the fertilization is called double fertilization. In angiosperm, the fertilization is called double fertilization. Double fertilization. One is synchrony, the other is triple fusion. What refers to double fertilization? Involvement of 2 male gametes. Involvement of 2 male gametes in fertilization. One in synchrony, fusion with the egg. one in triple fusion, fusion with central cell nuclei or polar nuclei. Next question is an extension of the previous one. What is double fertilization? The term double fertilization refers both synchrony and triple fusion. Synchrony and triple fusion. Next question. Question number 8. Winged pollen grains are present in. Winged pollen grains means pollen grains having wings. This pollen grain is found, this type of pollen grain is found in pinus. In pinus, the outer covering of the pollen grain, it modifies into a wing-like structure. Outer covering of a pollen grain modifies into exine, modifies into a wing-like structure. This is to help the pollen grain to carry away by wind. So in pinus, pollen grains are winged. The outer covering of pollen grain is modified into a wing. Question number 9. Morphological nature of edible part of coconut is. Which is the edible part of coconut? Edible part of coconut is endosperm. Edible part of coconut is endosperm. But here in coconut, there are two types of endosperm. In coconut, there are two types of endosperm. That is a solid endosperm and a liquid endosperm. When you cut the coconut shell, you can see a white colored portion we called kernel or copra. What we use in curries in grated form and to extract the oil after drying it. This white colored portion inside the coconut after cutting the coconut shell is the solid endosperm called kernel or copra. The liquid inside the coconut, it is the liquid endosperm. So coconut have solid endosperm and liquid endosperm. A part of the endosperm is solid, which is called solid endosperm, liquid endosperm. Actually, the solid endosperm is the edible part. Solid endosperm is the edible part of coconut. Okay, now we come to a dioecious flowering plant prevents both. What is a dioecious flowering plant? In dioecious plants, there is separate male and female plant. Plant is separate. Male plant possesses male flowers only. Female plant possesses female flowers only. In this condition, dioecious flowering plant, that is, plant is unisexual. Plant is unisexual. Flower also unisexual. Flower is unisexual. That is, separate male and female flowers are there. Male flowers are found on male plant. Female flowers are found on female plant. So here what we flowers are unisexual means separate male and female flower. Plant is unisexual means separate male and female plant. Separate male and female plant. Plant is unisexual. In unisexual plant, the only possible it is not. The only possible pollination is stenogamy. So in this type of plants, the only possible pollination is stenogamy. The only possible pollination is stenogamy. If only possible pollination is stenogamy, what are prevented? Answer is A. Autogamy is prevented. Geitonogamy is prevented. What is autogamy? You know, transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of the same plant. That is, autogamy requires bisexual flower. Autogamy occurs only in bisexual flower. Only in bisexual flower. What is geitonogamy? Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of different flower on the same plant. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of different flower but on the same plant. That is geitonogamy. Stenogamy, it is the transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of different plant on different plant, different flower of the different plant. That is what is called stenogamy. Okay. Question number 11. Question number 11. Functional megaspore in angiosperm. Functional megaspore in angiosperm develop into embryo sac. You can see in this diagram, this is the megaspore mother cell. After the first meiotic division, two cells are formed. 1, 2. It is called megaspore dyad. Then it is followed by meiosis 2. 4 daughter cells are formed. It is called megaspore tetrad. One of the megaspore, not all 3, only one megaspore. The other 3, the 3 megaspore degenerate. Only one megaspore develop. 3 megaspores degenerate. Only one megaspore develop. This developing megaspore is called functional megaspore. Functional megaspore. Functional megaspore develop into embryo sac. The functional megaspore, if we add one more diagram here, this is a functional megaspore. What is functional megaspore? One megaspore becomes functional. That means they develop. Other 3 degenerate. So after meiosis, even though 4 megaspores are produced, only one becomes functional and produce female gametophyte or embryo sac. Other 3 degenerate. Other 3 degenerate. Okay, dear students, it degenerates. So each meiosis produce 4 megaspores, but only one is functional. Functional megaspore produces female gametophyte. So we get one female gametophyte because one functional megaspore is there. This is the development of the functional megaspore into female gametophyte. Functional megaspore of angiosperm develop. This is the embryo sac. This one is called the embryo sac. So the megaspore develop into embryo sac. Develop into embryo sac. Then, next question. Attractants and rewards are required for attractants. What are attractants? Smell, color. They are attractants. Reward. Nectar and pollen grains are the reward. The insect visit a flower because of these two things. So attractants are factors which attract insect. Attractants are factors which attract insect. They are color and smell. They attract the insect. Rewards are something provided by the flower for consuming as a food for insect. That is pollen grains in some cases and nectar in many cases. So attractants are reward. It is meant for insect, pollinating insect. What term we used for pollinating insect? That is entomophily. Entomophily. Anemophily, wind pollination. Hydrophily, water pollination. Cleistogamy, here unopened flower. The flower never opened. Cleistogamous flower. They never open. Cleistogamous flowers do not require pollinating agents. Do not require pollinating agents. All times the flowers are closed. So inside the flower, anther is there, stigma is there. So cleistogamous flower never require. They do not require pollinating agents. So inside the flower, the pollinate. And also, in cleistogamous flower, there is only self-pollination. There is only self-pollination. So the answer is entomophilous flower. That is pollination by insects. The insects are attracted by flowers due to attractants and rewards. Question number 13. Next. Flowers which have single ovule in the ovary. One ovule in the ovary, and they are packed to inflorescence. The flowers are packed to inflorescence. It is to get attraction. Because the flowers are, individual flowers are small and non-attractive. Individual flowers are small and non-attractive. So when the flowers are packed together, it forms an inflorescence. And the inflorescence is attractive. Sunflower is the best example. Sunflower is not a flower, it is an inflorescence. Sunflower is a flower, is not a flower, it is an inflorescence. Here the inflorescence is called capitulum. Inflorescence is called capitulum. It is a special type of inflorescence. It is a special type of inflorescence. What is a special type of inflorescence? inflorescence which cannot be categorized into racemose or cymose in a strict way. So they are called special inflorescence. In sunflower, individual flowers are non-attractive. So they are grouped together to form an inflorescence. However, we call it as sunflower. We call it as sunflower, but it is not a flower. It is an inflorescence. Here the inflorescence is attractive, not the individual flower. Individual flowers are not attractive. To make it attractive, they are grouped together. So these two grouped together. So it is, so pollination will be easy. It is wind pollination. It is wind pollination. Flowers are usually in wind pollination. Otherwise, it cannot be pollinated. Next, question number 14. Double fertilization is exhibited by. Double fertilization is exhibited by only angiosperms. Only angiosperm. So double fertilization is a unique character of angiosperm. Double fertilization. There are some unique characters for each plant group. And you should remember the unique character of the plant group. So angiosperm, in angiosperms, the unique characters are, in angiosperms, the unique characters. First one, double fertilization. The question's concept is double fertilization. A unique character of angiosperm. Second one is presence of ovary. Presence of ovary. Third character, that is presence of fruit. Presence of fruit. Because ovary develop into fruit. Ovary develop into fruit. The fourth character, that is ovules are enclosed in ovary. Ovules are enclosed in ovary. Next, seeds are enclosed in fruit. That is, seeds are not naked. From reproductive side. Then next, triploid endosperm. Triploid endosperm. It is a unique character. Then from the anatomical side, we can say presence of vessels in xylem. Presence of vessel in xylem. Then presence of sieve tube element in phloem. Presence of sieve tube elements in phloem. These are some unique characters of angiosperm. Unique characters of angiosperm. Now, coming to question number, so here the question is angiosperm. That means set this character. Others are also unique at presence of ovary, presence of fruit, ovary develop into fruit, Ovules are enclosed in ovary. Seeds are enclosed in fruit. That means seeds are not naked. Triploid endosperm. Presence of vessels in xylem. Presence of sieve tube elements in phloem. Next. Which of the following generates new genetic recombination leading to variation? New genetic recombination and results in variation in progeny. It is in sexual reproduction. It is in sexual reproduction. Why? There is variability because sexual reproduction is by gametic fusion. Gametes are formed from meiosis. In meiosis, crossing over occurs, so there is a great chance of variation among gametes. There is a variation among gametes. So gametes are formed by meiosis. Meiosis is the biological tool of providing variation in gametes. So variation in progeny because of gametic fusion is the prime character of sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction which provides variation. Then nucellar polyembryony is an asexual method, asexual reproduction. Next. In majority of angiosperms. So a general question is proposed in majority of angiosperm. In majority of angiosperm, the answer is 1. Reduction division, that is meiosis. That is meiosis occurs in megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. This is second one we could not. Central cell is large. Central cell is large. Filiform apparatus is not found in egg. Filiform apparatus is found in synergids. Filiform apparatus is found in synergid. There are numerous antipodal cells. We could not agree. There are only 3 antipodal cells. Meiosis occurs in megaspore mother cell. We had seen in an earlier question having diagram depicted along with that. Megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis and produces megaspore. Next is an ironical question. That is pollination in water hyacinth and water lily brought about by the agency of. Both the plants are aquatic. Both the plants are aquatic. But the irony is that these plants are pollinated by insect or wind. Of course, water pollinated plant, hydrophily. Most of the hydrophilous plants, they are aquatic plants. Almost all hydrophilous plants are aquatic, growing in water. But all aquatic plants are not pollinated by water. That is the irony. All water pollinated plants are water plants. Almost. All water pollinated plants are water plants. Vallisneria, Zostera, they're aquatic plants. Vallisneria is a freshwater plant. Zostera is a marine one. They are aquatic plants. They are pollinated by water. But all water plants are not pollinated by water. That is good example is Icornia or water hyacinth and water lily. 18. Ovule of angiosperm. Technically equal to. Ovule of angiosperm is megasporangium. What is megasporophyle? Megasporophyle is carpel. Ovary, style, stigma. Megasporophyle is carpel. Megasporangium is ovule, that is present inside the ovary. So megasporophyle consists of ovules. The other name of ovule is megasporangium. The carpel name is megasporophyle. Okay. Next, it is question number 19. The term Adelphous condition. The term polyadelphous condition. We first come across Adelphous condition. What is Adelphous condition? Adelphous condition means fusion of Adelphous condition means fusion of filaments, but anthers are free. Fusion of filaments, but anthers are free. Filaments are fused. Filaments of the stamen are fused, but anthers are free. This condition is called Adelphous condition. It may be monoadelphous, fused into one bundle. It may be diadelphous, fused into two bundles. Polyadelphous, fused into three bundles. More than two. So polyadelphous condition, it is applicable to anther. Or adelphous condition is applicable to anther. Adelphous condition may be of three types: poly, di, mono. Poly, di, mono. So adelphous condition, it is applicable to stamens. Monoadelphous condition in hibiscus. Diadelphous in pea plant. Polyadelphous in citrus. Next. Radial symmetry is found in. Radial symmetry means the flower can be cut into two similar halves passing through any plane through center. If you cut a flower, the only condition, your cut should pass through the center. The flower will be two similar halves. That radial symmetry, the symmetry is called radial symmetry. The flower is called hypogynous flower. The flower is called hypogyne, brassica. In Pisum, cassia, and triflorium, the symmetry is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry. The flowers are zygomorphic. The symmetry is bilateral and flower is zygomorphic. Coming to next question number 21. Axile placentation is present in. Here this is axile placentation. This is marginal placentation. This is parietal placentation. This is free central placentation. This is basal placentation. Axile placentation, it is found in lemon. It is found in lemon. Argemone and dianthus. Argemone. Or it is not. In P it is marginal placentation. In argemone it is parietal, dianthus it is precentral. Dianthus it is precentral. Argemone it is parietal. Dianthus it is precentral. Basal it is sunflower. Next. Male gametophyte in angiosperm. Male gametophyte in angiosperm consists of 3 cells, 2 sperms and 1 vegetative cell. Oh, sorry. 2 sperms and 1 vegetative cell. That means male gametophyte consists of 3 cells. Male gametophyte of angiosperms consists of 3 cells. 2 sperms and 1 vegetative cell. But female gametophyte of angiosperm consists of 7 cells. Female gametophyte. Female gametophyte of angiosperm consists of 7 cells and 8 nuclei. Here 3 cells and 3 nuclei. Male gametophyte. Female is 7 cells and why 8 nuclei? Central cell consists of 2 nuclei. That is the difference between number of cells and nuclei. So male gametophyte is the smallest male gametophyte. Male gametophyte of angiosperm is the smallest gametophyte among bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm. When we consider 4 plant groups, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperm and angiosperm, male gametophyte of angiosperm is the smallest because it consists of only 3 cells when we consider bryo, pterido, gymno, angio. Then, next, coconut water from a tender coconut represent. We studied earlier. We discussed earlier in a previous question. Coconut cover consists of 2 types of endosperm. 2 types of endosperm. That is solid and liquid. The coconut water, it is the free nuclear endosperm. Also, it is the liquid endosperm. liquid endosperm. Why it is called free nuclei? The cell consists of many free nuclei. Many nuclei. The cell consists of many free nuclei. 24. Which of the following fruit is parthenocarpic? Parthenocarpic fruits which are developed without pollination. Without pollination. Ovary develop into fruit. If there is no pollination, no fertilization. Parthenocarpic fruit. Banana is a parthenocarpic fruit. Parthenocarpic fruits are characterized by the absence of seeds. That is, parthenocarpic fruits are seedless. Parthenocarpic fruits are seedless. Dear students, the seed-like structure present in banana, what we call banana, the seed-like structure present in banana are unfertilized ovules. When we eat banana, you can see small mustard grain-like structure inside a banana. But in Robusta, there is no structure like this. A small seed-like structure is unfertilized ovule. Unfertilized ovule. Then, angiosperm, microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. What is microsporogenesis? Formation of microspores from microspore mother cell. Megasporogenesis, formation of megaspore from megaspore mother cell. How the microspore is formed from microspore mother cell? How the megaspore is formed from megaspore mother cell? Both of these, microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis, they involve meiosis. They involve meiosis. Microspore mother cell undergo meiosis, microspores are formed. Megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis, megaspores are formed. Then, next it is 26. Flowers are unisexual. What is unisexual? Separate male and female flower. Flowers are unisexual in cucumber. In cucumber, male and female flowers are separate. Male flower consists of only androecium. Female flower consists of only gynoecium. So they are unisexual. But dear students, both male and female flowers are found on the same plant. Male and female flowers are found on the same plant. So cucumber is a monoecious plant. Cucumber is a monoecious plant. Male and female flowers are found on the same plant, so it is monoecious. 27. An application level question. How many meiotic divisions are required for the formation of 100 wheat grains? To form 100 wheat grains, there should be 100 zygote. To form 100 zygote, there should be 100 male gamete. There should be 100 female gamete. Male gamete is produced from male gametophyte. Male gametophyte is produced from pollen grain. Pollen grain. Pollen grain is produced from microspore mother cell. Each microspore mother cell produces 4 pollen grain by meiosis. So 25 microspore mother cell, 25 meiosis produces 25 meiosis produces 100 pollen grains. So to produce 100 male gamete, there should be 25 meiosis. But on the other hand, 100 female gamete, it is produced from 100 female produced from female gametophyte. Gametophyte. Female gametophyte is produced from megaspore. Megaspore is produced from megaspore mother cell. Then 100 megaspores are required. 100 female gametophytes are required. Each megaspore from meiosis produce 4 megaspore. But only one develop into female gametophyte. Only one develop into female gametophyte. That means megaspore mother cell undergo meiosis and produce 4 megaspore. But all the 4 will not develop into female gametophyte or embryo sac. Only one develop. So single meiosis, even though produces 4 megaspore, only one develop into male gametophyte. Sorry, female gametophyte. That means each meiosis produce 100, we can modify it, 100 functional megaspore. To get 100 functional megaspore, not 100 megaspore. 100 megaspores are obtained from 25 meiosis. Each meiosis produces 1 functional megaspore. So to get 100 functional megaspore, how many meiosis are required? 100 meiosis are required. How many meiosis are required? 100 meiosis are required. So 100 meiosis are required for produce 100 female gametes. So the total number of meiosis is 25 from male side, 100 from female side. So the total number of meiosis required is 125. 28. Portion found between embryonal axis and plumule is. So here this is the embryonal axis. So we can say this is the embryonal axis. Embryonal axis, we can say that is tigellum. Embryonal axis is called the tigellum. Embryonal axis called tigellum. On the embryonal axis, there is two cotyledons in the case of dicot, one cotyledon in the case of monocot. So this is the cotyledon. This is the plumule. This is the radical. The portion of embryonal axis below the plumule, above the cotyledon, this is epicotyle. This is epicotyle. This portion, this is called hypocotyle. The portion between embryonal axis and plumule, between embryonal axis and radical, it is called epicotyle and hypocotyle. That is below the plumule, above the cotyledon, epicotyle. Below the cotyledon, epi means upon. Epicotyle, portion above the cotyledon. Hypocotyle, hypo means below. Epidermis you studied. Epi means upon. Derma means skin. Epidermis, outermost skin, outermost layer. Hypodermis, hypo means below, dermis means skin. Hypodermis means below the epidermis. Here epicotyle, epi means above, cotyle means cotyledon, above the cotyledon. Hypo means below, cotyle means cotyledon, below the cotyledon, that is hypocotyle. 28. 29. Albuminous seeds, endospermous seeds. Endospermous seeds are wheat, maize, barley, castor, and cashew. Oh, albuminous seeds. Albuminous seeds. No. What does albuminous seeds? Wheat, maize, grace. Wheat, maize. No. Albuminous seed here. Wheat, maize, barley, castor, and cashew. So albuminous seeds. Okay. So it is wheat, maize, cashew, maize, barley, castor, cashew. You cut it. We can make an option like this. Cashew, you hide it. Okay. Wheat, maize, barley, castor, they are endospermous. Sunflower is not endospermous. Gram is not endospermous. Groundnut is not endospermous. Sunflower is not endospermous. These marked into, they are exalbuminous seeds. Exalbuminous seeds. Exalbuminous means non-endospermous. Then albuminous, these are albuminous seeds. Wheat, maize, barley, castor, barley, maize, wheat. These are albuminous seeds. Albuminous seeds. They are endospermous. Answer is B. Cashew we omit. It is not albuminous. So answer is B. Next it is question number 30. Question number 30. Last question. What would be the ploidy of the following structure? GEF. G is pericarp, fruit wall, ploidy is 2n. F is endosperm, ploidy 3n. E is scutellum, that is cotyledons, it is 2n. So the answer is G, E, F. G, E, F. G is 2n, G is 2n, E is 2n, G is 2n, E is 2n, F is 3n. Answer is D. Yes, that's all in this paper. Thank you, dear students. Thank you very much.